What's up, guys, and welcome back to Tape to Twine. I know it's been a while since an episode. Bear with me, things have been crazy lately. So, I just thought I'd go right into this. I just want to apologize for everything. Well, I got a chance to talk to Steve Mason. That's going to come on later in the show at the end, from Ifunny. He came on, he talked to me. Well, he couldn't really come on. We couldn't, FaceTime or Skype or anything. There was complications with it. So he just recorded answering the questions. So that'll be towards the end. But right now, I want to go into Jimmy Vesey. We never got into this. I never had the chance to talk about it. He signed a entry-level contract with the New York Rangers. Was that the best option for him? No. I honestly thought the Hawks were going to pick him up. He's a low-risk player. He'd look very good in the, good old Indian head uniform. Yeah, he way better options to grow. I mean, you have him play with Taves and Hossa on the first line, maybe. Playing with Patrick Kane maybe throughout the season. You saw what happened with Brandon Saad when he was on the Hawks. A young guy stepped up in that huge role. Now he's considered as an elite forward, a guy who can put 20 to 30 goals a year. Really interesting to see, he wanted to stay at home. He's playing with New York. He'll be, I think he'll develop well there. It's not like he's, his career's done. He signed with New York. I think he gives them a better chance. I think he gives them, that confirmation that they're still, eligible to bring in young talent, which I actually really like that. I really think he'll do well there. Sadly, he's not with the Hawks, but can't be too biased here. Another topic, Stephen A. Smith. I'm pretty sure a lot of you heard of him. He's on ESPN. He's sort of a jackass, if you'd say, Well, he made a remark on John Tortorella saying that he doesn't want his players sitting during the national anthem. He said, if any of my players sit during the national anthem, they'll find themselves sitting there the entire game. Okay, that's reasonable. He's expressing his freedom of speech. He's not saying exactly, hey, they can't do this. He's saying if they do, there'll be consequences. So he's not taking away their freedom of expression. He's just giving a consequence. He's saying there's going to be he's warning them. They can do it, but hey, you're going to be sitting the entire game. Okay? Stephen A. Smith took this a whole other way and now thinks he should be fired because he's infringing on their freedom of speech, supposedly. I do not agree with that. I don't think that he's at all doing anything bad. To be honest, in my full opinion, some of you may be Canadian and be listening, as an American, I think that it is very inappropriate to do that at such a national level wearing the Team USA jersey. That it would be disrespectful, if anything. That's absurd. So I like what Coach John Tortorella said. There's 100 different reasons not to like him, but this isn't one, and I completely back him up 100% here. Now, this is a controversy that I've come up with. Think about this real quick. Ben Bishop with Las Vegas. Think about it for a second. I'll give you a second. Holy shit, would he look good. Because think about it. Tampa Bay, you are very confident in Vasilevsky, are you not? He did pretty damn good in the playoffs, against, every other team besides the Penguins. He did good versus the Penguins, just wasn't enough. Bishop got hurt, 13 minutes into that series in the first game? Vasilevsky did pretty damn good. It went to, 7 games? Yeah. Stamkos came back for that game 7. I do think you guys should keep hope in Vasilevsky. Everyone thought this after 2015, this Cup final, that Bishop was going to get traded. But I do believe that Bishop, who's going to be a free agent, can be a very big, popular name for the expansion draft. Imagine you're starting a new franchise and you get a grade A goaltender in net. That'd be perfect. And not many people are talking about this. I kind of just came up with it in my head. I thought, I was sitting in my room and I was like, hey, what if Ben Bishop went to Los Angeles? I was like, boom, an explosion went off in my head, which I have an article about this coming in on the way of how it would work. But, he would give that team, this new franchise, a very big boost in the right direction regarding their back end. So I thought that would be really cool. Sorry for the stutter there. But, yeah, I don't know if Vasilevsky can do an entire season and take control, but it would be something to consider. Okay. And now, what we've been waiting for, my World Cup of Hockey predictions. Holy hell. I'm not sure. I mean, I know Canada is very, very, diverse right now with Team North America, with a lot of Canadian players in there, and Team Canada. Even though, I got to be honest with you guys, Team Canada is going to win it. It's not even a thought. If you look at the teams, Team Canada is an all-star team. Their first line is Sidney Crosby, Patrice Bergeron, and Brad Marchand, sorry. That is insane. That's insane. How is that even legal? They should have at least moved them apart. Like, that is unstoppable. Yes, Patrick Kane with Team USA, Max Pacioretty, Ryan Suter, and all of them. Their goaltender situation between, I don't care. I mean, I'm going to root for the United States no matter what. I hope they win. But it looks like everything is pointing towards Team Canada and them winning this. Hopefully it's not. But we'll see. That's just going to be frustrating. Let me read you Team Canada's roster. Patrice Bergeron, Logan Couture, Sidney Crosby, Matt Duchene, Ryan Getzlaf, Claude Giroux, Brad Marchand, Corey Perry, Tyler Seguin, Steven Stamkos, John Tavares, Joe Thornton, and Jonathan Toews. That's just their offense. Defense, Jay Bouwmeester, Brent Burns, Drew Doughty, Jake Muzzin, Alec Pietrangelo, Mark-Edward Vlasic, and Shea Weber. Yes, they lost a lot of people because I know a lot of people are dropping out of the World Cup. It's hard paying attention to what's going on. Goaltenders, Corey Crawford, Braden Holtby, and Carey Price. Stacked. Okay, now we're going to go to Team Europe. Actually, yeah, we'll go to Team Europe. We'll give them a look, actually. They deserve it. They got Mikhail Bodker, Josh Seidel, Marian Gaborik, Yannick Hansen, Marian Hossa, Anze Kopitar, Nito Niederreiter, Franz Nielsen, Tobias Rader, Tomas Tatar, Thomas Vanek, and Matt Zuccarello. Defense, Zdeno Chara, Christian Ehrhoff, Roman Josi, Lucas Spiza, Dennis Seidenberg, Andrei Sekera, Mark Straight. Goaltenders, this is their one downfall. The team, I believe, Thomas Greiss, Philip Grubauer, Yaroslav Halak. I would say Halak gets most of the starts, at least I would hope, but I don't know if I like what's going on there. We'll go to Team North America, which this is where everyone gets a little split in Canada. You have Sean Couturier, Jonathan Drouin, Jack Eichel, Johnny Gaudreau, one of my favorite players, Dylan Larkin, Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, JT Miller, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Brandon Saad, Mark Scheifele, and Vincent Trocheck. Austin Matthews playing in this. He was born, him and McDavid were born the same year I am. Literally, Austin Matthews' birthday is 9 days before mine. What am I doing with my life? Defense, Aaron Ekblad, Shane Gostisbehere, Seth Jones, Ryan Murray, Colton Parayko, Morgan Riley, and Jacob Trouba. Their goaltenders, John Gibson, Connor Hellebuck, and Matt Murray. Matt Murray definitely going to lead the pack, I believe. Now, let's go to Team USA. Team USA, here's theirs. Compared to Canada's and everyone else's, here's theirs. Justin Applicator, David Backes, who's looking to be declining, Brandon Dubinsky, Patrick Kane, that's alternate captain, Ryan Kessler, TJ Oshie, Max Pacioretty, Kyle Palmieri, Zach Parise, Joe Pavelski, Derek Stepan, James Van Riemsdyk, and Blake Wheeler. It's pretty good. I mean, compared to Canada, which I would give it A+ easily, United States probably a B. B+. I'll give them a B+. Defense, Dustin Byfuglien, John Carlson, Eric Johnson, Jack Johnson, Ryan McDonough, Matt Niskanen, and Ryan Suter. Goaltenders, Ben Bishop, Jonathan Quick, Corey Schneider. People are saying Jonathan Quick's going to start. Ben Bishop backs up. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see when it all starts. But yeah, you guys can see just by the names that I just read, Canada's winning this. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind Canada will win this. Let me know what you guys think. Right now, I'm going to play the interview with Steve Mason from Ifunny. Awesome guy, awesome content. Make sure you give it a good read. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
The first question that John asked me was, as a Flyers fan, what do you expect coming out of this season? I expect this team to be a little bit better than last year's, obviously. They made some additions. They added Dale Weiss to give them some depth scoring, especially from a third line standpoint, which is one of their weaker links last season. And they also added Boyd Gordon as a penalty kill specialist and a guy who can really help them take the weight off Claude Giroux for faceoffs. They want to keep him rested up, and Boyd Gordon was certainly a great option in that, and a cheap one as well for a team that's still a little bit cap strapped. I would think, especially with the core being together still, Giroux, Voracek, Simmons, Shen, Gostisbehere, I guess we could say is part of that since he's going to be a key part of the future now. Couturier, obviously, if I haven't mentioned him already. Keeping this team intact, and obviously the goaltending still looks to be very strong. Defensively, guys like Gudis are still contributing. Nick Schultz, has been probably one of the better defensive defensemen this team's had recently. Um, this could be a team that I won't say is a threat to win anything. I won't say they're a cup contender. They're a team that can. They're a team that maybe can surprise some people. I think they have the potential to be maybe a second round team. Based on last year's performance, it only took a goaltending switch to take the Capitals to 6 games after being down 0-3 in the first round. So that being said, if they can play a little bit better than last year, maybe a little bit more consistently, not have a bad start out of the gate like they have had the last couple seasons, they could certainly be a good team, potentially a third place team in the division behind Washington and Pittsburgh. But the Islanders are also really good. The Rangers added some depth, but I don't know what to make of them yet. But they should be definitely a more improved team, a little bit better team, a little bit more scoring out of them, hopefully. They added some free agents. They added Robin Lubomov from the KHL. Could potentially be in the bottom six, maybe in the AHL. They added TJ Brennan, probably a seventh defenseman option if they trade someone, likely Mark Streit. That's a name that's been thrown around out there, but it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But hopefully the Flyers play a lot better than they did last year. The next question is, how will the goalie situation work between Michael Neuvert and Steve Mason? Now, last year, a lot of both goalies played tremendously during the regular season. Steve Mason had his moments where he wasn't that great, especially early on in the season, had a rough start. Late in the season, when the Flyers made their playoff push, he played just about as well as he's played in his entire career. And obviously, Michael Neufeld played extremely well, had a very high save percentage. Made some big saves along the way, especially the diving stick save against the Wild. That's the save that most people remember from this season that kept their season alive. Posted back-to-back shutouts in his first 2 Flyer starts, and he's only the second Flyer goalie to do that since Jeff Hackett. For those who are old enough to remember that name. And for most of those who do remember, they split the starts pretty evenly most of the season. It was only injuries that kept a guy from starting usually. Or, usually Dave Haxtell would go with the hot hand, whoever was doing really well in that. But most other times it was pretty fair. Obviously in the playoffs we saw Mason struggle. He ran out of gas in those first 3 games. They put Michael Neuvert in, and he played it outstandingly well. Had the best save percentage out of any goaltender in the playoffs. I think the situation will continue to play out like it did last year, where they give guys, their chances, their fair share of starts. I think because it's a contract year, though, for both players, they're both unrestricted free agents after the season ends. I think the big thing here is if there's any sort of injury that derails one of them or anything that throws them off course, they have any bad games. Any little mistake opens the door for the other guy, and it could potentially lead to a runaway with the starting job. Potentially, I'm not saying it will happen, but because it is such a big year for both players, it could happen. And also another thing to note, Anthony Stolarz, their third goalie, their AHL All-Star from last year with the Phantoms, he's a free agent this year as well, a restricted free agent, so they won't have to worry about it as much. They'll just have to send him a qualifying offer, and that's that, if he accepts it at least. And part of this is if one of those guys gets hurt and Anthony Stolarz comes and potentially plays a few games, that opens the door that maybe he's going to be be there next year, which I think he'll be there anyway. Maybe he'll be there next year. Maybe he'll be really good for the Flyers. And, maybe this puts one of the goalies out of a job relatively quickly. Maybe if something comes up early enough, maybe a guy is gone at the trade deadline for maybe some picks, maybe another player they could use for a playoff push, preferably a winger. And there's a small chance that happens. Potentially, it happens. Likely though, it'll happen like last year. They'll split starts. Both, I think, will continue to do really well. Mason has proved he can be a starter at this level, especially with the team he's on now. He's earned the team's trust. Ron Hextall certainly likes him. His teammates have his back night in and night out. This is gonna be his fourth full season in Philadelphia. He'll play, I think, just as well as he has the seasons he's been here. Michael Neufer had a great year last year. Will probably be the same. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, though, I think, again. The next question is predictions on the Flyers' leading scorer. I think you look no further than Claude Giroux. Last year, he led the team with 67 points. A down year relatively for a man who puts up usually at least 75 to 80 points a year, if not higher, some years. It's the lowest point total he's had in a full NHL season. He only missed 4 games due to a hit from PK Subban, which led what many believe to be a concussion. Played through most of this season with hip and abdominal injuries, as it was revealed after the playoffs ended. Had surgery in the offseason. Actually did an interview yesterday with CSN, said he was feeling good. I would expect him to maybe reach the 75-point, 80-point mark again this year, barring any injuries or any setbacks. It was, like I said, it was a really relatively uncharacteristic year for the captain, but he looks to be hopefully staying healthy this year. Should be good, as long as he's got those producers around him and the guys he can help make better. Simmons, Voracek, Schenn, those 3 names especially, and Gostisbehere when they're on the power play. He should rack up the points. He should be the leading scorer. The next question is the biggest off-season addition the Flyers made. Dale Weiss, I think by far, is the biggest addition they made and the best addition that they could have made. Dale Weiss, was a really good depth player for Montreal. Was traded at the trade deadline along with Tomas Fleischmann to Chicago, and struggled a little bit before the playoffs. Had a goal in the series against St. Louis. Ron Hextall signed into a relatively fair contract. The term scares me a little more than the money. He's here for 4 years. I don't know if I really see Dale Weiss being a part of this team in 4 years, but I think for now, for the present, I think it's good. I think he adds a little bit of grit as well, which I think this team needs. There were games where they were getting tossed around a little bit too much, but with this team, they're so close-knit that they have each other's backs and they'll step up for one another. I think he fits right into that role. He certainly did in Montreal, and in the past with Vancouver and New York, he certainly fought for his teammates and was a little bit scrappy as well. I think now being a little bit more of a scoring player, I'm not saying the guy is Ovechkin, but he certainly added a little bit of goal scoring to his repertoire, and I think that kind of helps out. He'll probably play on the third line, likely with Matt Reed, probably Nick Cousins as well, or Scott Lawton, whoever they throw out there. Potentially will eat up some power play minutes on the second unit, which is where Ryan White played last year, and now he's gone with the Coyotes. I think, though, this is a very important signing. I think for the present, they addressed a little bit of the scoring issue, and they got a tough player as well as someone who can score a little bit. So overall, I'm happy with this signing, and hopefully the Flyers are too by the time this season ends. Next question is, are you excited for the outdoor game against the Penguins? I am insanely excited. I personally thought this should have been the Winter Classic, but the NHL hates fun, so they weren't going to make one of the best rivalries the Winter Classic. That being said, I think it'll be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be really exciting watching two heated rivals go against each other on outdoor ice. I'm interested to see what the jerseys look like because the Flyers will actually have new jerseys for the Stadium Series game. Instead of wearing their 50th anniversary jerseys, which we'll get to in just a minute. But I think it'll be exciting. This will be the Flyers' third outdoor game. For those who don't know, they played the 2010 Winter Classic against the Bruins at Fenway Park, and they played the 2012 Classic against the Rangers at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. So this is their third game. It'll be fun to watch this team play out there. I wish I was going, but tickets will cost an arm and a leg. But hopefully the Flyers pull it out. They're playing at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I've been insanely excited to watch how it all unfolds. With Flyer hockey, it's always something new. It's always something exciting, something nail-biting for the fans to enjoy. And I don't think this game will disappoint at all, and I think it'll may be the highest rated game that we'll see on NBC this year for sure. I'm looking forward to it, though. Can't wait for it. And the last question, what are my thoughts on the 50th anniversary jersey? My thoughts are probably different from a lot of people's. A lot of people didn't really like this jersey. They thought there's too much gold on it. There are even comments that said they stole the Penguins' gold. For those who said that, you're stupid. They have gold on there because it's the golden anniversary of the team. It's the 50th anniversary of Flyers hockey. I like the touch of gold on it. I especially like the numbers. I like how they did the captain's patches, all that in gold. And even the nameplate, they kept sort of the away nameplate where it's the black with white lettering, but they also put gold in the lettering as well. I sort of like that touch to it. I really like it, though. I think the only place they didn't have to go as much gold is the front logo. But that being said, I still really like the jersey. I'm probably going to get a Giroux one. I just think it looks so sharp. I can't wait to get one. I can't wait to see them play in it. They're going to open up their season at home with it against the Ducks in October. Really excited to watch that game and see that jersey take the ice. It's unfortunate I won't be able to see it in person because I'm going to be heading down just about a week after they open up their season at home. I'll be there the 29th when they play the Penguins, and they'll be wearing their usual home jerseys for that. But I really like the jerseys, though, and I don't know why people hate it so much. I think they just hate it because it's the gold. There's just something to piss and moan about. But I like it. Hopefully, when they start wearing it on a regular basis and people start seeing it in action, maybe they'll come around to it. Hopefully, as is the case with most jerseys, people will be like, it's not that good, and then when they see it, on the ice, they'll be like, you know what, it's not that bad. So hopefully they say the same thing about this. But I'm excited about it. I like it, and hopefully the season turns out really great. I want to thank John for having me on the podcast. This is a cool opportunity. Obviously this is something for him that, is really exciting and can help to help take him to new heights. And being someone who wants to do something in sports as well, maybe broadcasting or journalism, this is something exciting for me to do as well. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on. To the people listening, thanks for listening, and keep listening to the Tape and Twine podcast.